Is the proposal to demolish the Gabba and build a new version dead in the water? After plenty of backlash to the proposal, which would have seen only 8,000 more seats added to the stadium, and with a price tag of $2.7 billion, it seems like it might not happen at all. But that leaves the question of where to host the opening and closing ceremonies for the Brisbane 2032 Olympics and the athletics competition as well. Let's take a look at the options. I'm Mel Pikos, and today we're talking tactics. The Gabba was first announced as the host of the athletics competition and the opening and closing ceremonies in the Brisbane 2032 Master Plan, released in 2021. The redevelopment was initially said to cost $1 billion, but that blew out to $2.7 billion because of multiple factors, including inflation, global economic circumstances, and the stated preliminary nature of the concept. Backlash to the proposal eventually led to Lord Mayor Adrian Schrinner resigning from the Intergovernmental Leaders Forum, a group advising the organisational committee on various things, including venue management. The proposal was then put back under review after Anastasia Palaszczuk's resignation and Stephen Miles' promotion to Premier. He announced a 60-day review into the master plan to be undertaken by previous Brisbane Lord Mayor Graham Quirk, which will look at the suitability of the proposed venues. Findings will be released on the 18th of March 2024. Recently, John Coates, the International Olympic Committee Vice President, said that the proposal for the Gabba is dead and declared that it just doesn't stack up. He called for the proposal to be cancelled and suggested that Suncorp Stadium be used for the opening and closing ceremonies, and the Queensland Sport and Athletics Centre at Nathan be used for the athletics competitions. The president of the Brisbane 2032 Organising Committee, Andrew Liveris, backed up Mr Coates' comments. Lord Mayor Adrian Schrinner said that
the Gabba rebuild is dead, buried and cremated.
And the Greens South Brisbane MP Amy McMahon also called on Queensland Premier Stephen Miles to make the call on ditching the Gabba proposal before the election. It really seems that all Queensland politicians agree that the Gabba redevelopment is dead. And I agree. I think all the signs are pointing towards that the Gabba's demolition and redevelopment is dead. So let's look at the alternative venues in Brisbane that could host the opening and closing ceremonies and or the athletics. The front runner at the moment seems to be Suncorp Stadium in Milton. Currently it seats 52,000 people and will also require an upgrade to be suitable for the opening and closing ceremonies. It will probably need an additional 8,000 or so seats, bringing it up to 60,000. And while this sounds the same as the increase in seating to the Gabba proposal, apparently it would be significantly cheaper to do this at Suncorp. According to the ABC though, there are serious concerns that the holding areas at the Cauldron aren't big enough to accommodate all the international athletes for the opening and closing ceremonies. If it were to happen, the athletics would need to be held elsewhere. QSAC, Nathan. Another often mentioned venue is the Queensland Sport and Athletics Centre. It has an official seating capacity of 48,500 people and would require some serious upgrades to get it up to Olympic standard. But it already has the athletics facilities. There's plenty of space to upgrade and expand, and it would give a lasting legacy to Brisbane with world-class athletic facilities that can be used after the games. But transport is a major issue. With no train lines, buses would be relied upon to get people and the audiences out there, which is not ideal. There are also talks about potentially creating a Brisbane Metro line out there, which would be great, but would probably not be big enough to deal with the amount of passengers during the games. A new stadium at Albion. Many of you in the comments section of previous videos have mentioned Albion, and Lord Mayor Adrian Schrinner previously mentioned the possibility of building a new stadium at Albion on the site of the Albion Raceway.
So there was a site there that we thought this could be a location for the main stadium. You can build it without impacting people in an existing stadium, and that could be then ready for the games.
This area was announced to become the new Breakfast Creek Sports Precinct and would include a new indoor sports centre that will include facilities for basketball, netball, volleyball, goalball and badminton. Could they build a new stadium there? A new stadium above Cross River Rail Woolloongabba. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Let's build a new super stadium above the Cross River Rail / Brisbane Metro Stadium at Woolloongabba. It allows the current Gabba to be used as a warm-up track, a requirement for Olympics athletics competitions, plus it lets the Lions and Heat continue playing at their home stadiums. And then after the Olympics, the ageing Gabba Stadium can be demolished and turned into a mixed-use development, incorporating affordable housing, retail, and hospitality venues. It's a win-win in my books. Here are a few venues that I think are total long shots and likely have no chance of becoming reality, but I've seen a few people throw them around as options. Brisbane's Showgrounds. Too small and would require a huge upgrade. Carrara Stadium, Gold Coast. Hosts the Brisbane Olympics opening and closing ceremonies, not in Brisbane. I hope not. Ballymore Stadium. Also too small and needs an upgrade, plus transport would be an issue. A new stadium at Victoria Park, Hurston. This would go against the recent announcement of rewilding Victoria Park, so I think it's unlikely this would happen. A stadium at North Shore, Hamilton. Could be built along with the announcement of the Athletes Village out there, but again, transport infrastructure would need a significant overhaul. Mount Cootha Quarry. I doubt there's a chance of anything happening here, but you never know. The hole is already dug. Pine Mountain Quarry. This already could be turned into a BMX track, so I don't think they'll actually build a stadium out here. These quarry sites are going to be turned into something though. Check out my video on the topic by clicking the link up in the top corner. But what do you guys think? Is the Gabba rebuild dead? And where do you think the opening and closing ceremonies should be held? Do you like any of these options? Or should the Brisbane Olympics just get cancelled? Let me know in the comments section down below. There's plenty of chatter about the venues for the opening and closing ceremonies, but on the whole, will hosting the Olympic Games actually benefit the city? If you check out this video, I talk with Anthony Ryan from the Brisbane Economic Development Agency about how hosting these types of massive international events will actually benefit you. That's it for today. I'm Mel Pikos, and we've been talking tactics.